What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we are here for our Monday Night Raw review for May 7th, 2018. We just got done with the first Monday Night Raw after Backlash on the road to Money in the Bank, which was supposed to be before this dual-branded pay-per-view, the Big Five, with the fifth pay-per-view of what was going to be now the Big Five with Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. It's still going to be a Big Five-ish because outside of Survivor Series, this will be, and the Royal Rumble, this is also going to be one of the few pay-per-views where Raw and SmackDown superstars actually wrestle each other or fight each other. We are going to have two Money in the Bank ladder matches, one for the men and one for the women. 4 men from each show, which is great. Which I guess Pro Wrestling Unlimited yesterday saw advertisement art for Money in the Bank, and they had a red briefcase, a blue briefcase, and a white briefcase, and they're like, shit, no. Like, if that would have been the case, and it would have been one women's Money in the Bank and 2 men's, there would have been one thing that's overkill, and 2, you would have had so many, feminists out there with scrutinizing WWE. Oh, how could you do 2 men ladder matches and only 1 women's ladder match? Good thing WWE decided not to do that, and again, it would have been overkill. It's a little overkill still to have 2 ladder matches, but I'm fine with it because it is 1 men and 1 women's ladder match. We had 2 men qualify and 1 woman qualify tonight. We are slated for 2 men qualifiers tomorrow, as well as another women's qualifier as well. We'll get into those later. We had 2 triple threat matches, 1 for the women, 1 for the men's, and of course Braun Strowman pretty much getting a chance to enter the Money in the Bank, which of course, how else did that go? Just wait and find out. We also had Jinder Mahal complain about not help advancing his career on Monday Night Raw. And of course he goes to complain to Kurt Angle and gets a rematch from last week with Chad Gable, which if anybody watches WWE as long as I have, 50-50 booking of course plays its hand. We also had Slater and Rhino versus Ziggler and McIntyre. That zigzag Claymore finisher is just a thing of beauty. The Deleter of Worlds also had a match too, which they debuted a new finisher. Instead of using the elevated twist of fate, they used a double Sister Abigail type move, whatever they're going to call it. I guess Bray Wyatt's now Samael, and his inner spirit is now Samael, while Matt Hardy's is Zenith or whatever. And let me see what else here. They also had the triple threat from women's. But what I do like that they're doing this time around, unlike last year, where last year for the Money in the Bank, it was only a SmackDown only pay-per-view. So you had a limited roster for who could be in the men's and the women's. But with the fact that they have both rosters now on this one show, and you're having qualifying matches for both shows, we're going to have people earn their way into the Money in the Bank instead of having Kurt Angle on Raw or Shane McMahon on SmackDown or Paige on SmackDown saying, these are the people getting into the Money in the Bank for the men and for the women's. And it's like, for what? What reason? They did that last year with the men's, and of course the women's on SmackDown, they only had 6 options. So they didn't really have anyone to worry about qualifying for. So, and again, it is nice to see that the qualifiers are coming back because I don't like the fact that we would have something like the Money in the Bank and you just gift somebody without no rhyme or reason a shot at winning money, at getting a chance to face for Money in the Bank. It's just not something WWE should ever do, and I'm glad that they're going back to qualifying matches, which is always a positive. Other than that, this show really didn't do much. I mean, we did have Renee Young sit down with Bobby Lashley, and I just wanted to throw up my lunch or my dinner for having to listen to this entire story of Bobby Lashley's entire childhood. I care. I literally seriously care about what him and his family did when he was a kid and everything. It was cringe-inducing. It was nothing I wanted to hear before. I don't want to hear it again, but I'll play it for you anyway, if it's on here, which I'm pretty sure it is, just so you can hear how bad this got, because it was just god fucking awful. WWE, way to go with just making cringe-inducing even worse and worse as we go. Show started off with Kurt Angle coming out, and you know how Kurt Angle is. He likes to welcome everybody to Monday Night Raw, just like everyone else likes to. And he pretty much starts talking about the Money in the Bank ladder match. He says the one thing about, like, since WrestleMania, we've been on a high. We went from WrestleMania to the Greatest Royal Rumble to the Backlash last night, but we don't keep stopping 52 weeks a year. We do it all for you, from Mania to everything else. Next up is Money in the Bank. 2 ladder matches, one for the men and one for the women. Tonight, 2 qualifying matches, Ember Moon, Ruby Riott, and Sasha Banks in the women's triple threat. And the men's will see Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Sami Zayn. Oh, let me tell you about that main event. Out comes Braun Strowman, who wants to get into the Money in the Bank ladder match himself.
And all the boys in my...
Oh my god, this goddamn story. Why do we have to have Braun Strowman, one of the most over guys in the company, sit there and talk about what happened when he was a boy? It's just stupid. Just stupid.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I was a kid and all the boys in my neighborhood decided they were going to build a tree house? I'd listen to them saw boards, hammer nails, and paint the whole thing. And not one time did they ever ask me for help. And when they got done, I had to listen to them talk about their stupid little handshake so you could climb up the rope ladder into their tree house. So you know what I did?
Who the fuck cares? I don't care about story time with Braun Strowman. Oh god, please don't make this a thing. This is just so fucking dumb. He's over as a babyface. Why do we need to induce him to... Why do we have to subjugate him to this cringe-inducing bullshit?
You climbed up the ladder and destroyed the treehouse? Even better. I waited for every one of them to get in the treehouse, and I knocked the whole damn tree down.
By the way, whoever had the Thanos, Braun Strowman as Thanos poster or sign in the crowd, kudos to you, because that made me laugh immediately.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. You've been on a roll lately. I mean, you won the tag team titles at WrestleMania. You won the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and last night, you won again at Backlash. If anyone deserves a shot at Money in the Bank, it's you. If anyone deserves...
Kevin Owens, of course, comes out by himself to, say he deserves a Money in the Bank. He deserves to be in Money in the Bank. So what do you think's going to happen? I'll give you a second. Let's just listen ahead.
To be in that ladder match, it's me. Look, I've only been on Raw a few weeks, and even though you didn't want me here, Kurt, you can't deny that I am Raw's MVP. Oh yeah, I anchor the highest rated segments.
I'm sorry, Kevin Owens. Has your name been changed to Seth Rollins? Because I think Seth Rollins has been Raw's MVP on the men's side since WrestleMania 33. That guy's been on the top of his game. And we'll talk about him later because he does issue a Intercontinental title open challenge.
I have arenas all over the world chanting my name.
That's the Mojo.
More importantly, I am a team player. I respect the rules, unlike Braun Strowman. Last night at Backlash, the wrong man was pinned. And that goes against the WWE rulebook. Last night's decision should be reversed, which means Sammy and I should be declared the winners, which means Braun Strowman was on the losing team, which means Braun Strowman's not a roll. I'm on a roll. I deserve to be in that Money in the Bank ladder match, and I shouldn't have to qualify for it. I deserve to be in it for everything I've been through these last few months. And Braun, you know what Braun Strowman deserves? The only thing he deserves is to be sent to a giant corner in timeout so that he can reflect on how he's been a very, very bad monster.
Who the fuck wrote that line? Seriously. Who the fuck wrote that line? Are we talking to kids? Oh, go sit in the corner, Jimmy. You've been a very, very bad monster. Bad Jimmy. You're a very bad monster. What the fuck, man? Give me a fucking break. Kevin Owens is better than that.
Bad monster, Braun!
Listen, Kevin, I can't just put you in the Money in the Bank ladder match. But before I was rudely interrupted by you, I was about to tell Braun that he will have a qualifying match for Money in the Bank.
He doesn't deserve it.
Oh!
I deserve it.
The only thing you deserve is to get these hands.
No. I'm not interested in your hands. I'm not interested in your stupid catchphrase. I'm not interested in your childhood sob stories. What I am interested in, Kurt,
Trust me, Owens, neither am I.
is you treating me fairly. So here's what's going to happen, Kurt. Let me tell you, you're going to make a decision. And it should be a smart decision. And that decision should keep in mind the fact that you need this job. That decision should keep in mind the fact that Stephanie McMahon is watching. And that decision should be that you are going to announce that the very first Raw superstar to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match is Kevin Owens.
All right. I'm glad you reminded me that Stephanie McMahon was watching. But I've decided that I'm going to put Braun Strowman in a qualifying match. And you know what? Ironically, his opponent is going to be you.
So that match happened right after the break. We had Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman. Kevin Owens got a lot of offense on Braun Strowman. Actually, like, the beginning of the match, Braun Strowman was just beating the holy piss out of Kevin Owens. And, of course, Kevin Owens tried to bail and leave over the barricade, and Braun Strowman's caught him before he could go anywhere. Braun Strowman gets his eyes raked. Kevin Owens slams his face onto the barricade, I believe, and then he hits him with a tornado DDT on the outside. Kevin Owens gets back in the ring and tries to get a count-out victory, because any victory, count-out, disqualification, pin, or submission, will take you to the Money in the Bank ladder match. But, unfortunately, Braun Strowman got back in at the 8 count, and then a little bit of touch more in the ring, and Braun Strowman ends up doing the spot in the corner with your shoulder hitting the post. He falls outside and gets another count-out try again, but this time he gets back in at 7. Lo and behold, what happens at the end of this match, just like any other Braun Strowman match, when it comes to Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman just loves to run him down. He does run him down a couple times, and the next thing you know, Braun Strowman picks him up, hits him with the running power slam, and 1, 2, 3, you have a monster in the bank, as Braun Strowman called it. Kevin Owens did get a nice looking frog splash on Braun Strowman toward the end of this match, and I was like, are they actually going to do it? Of course not. So, Kevin Owens, 2 months ago, was part of the biggest storyline in all of SmackDown Live, because, the WWE Championship wasn't big enough anymore. But outside of the WWE Championship feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, you had Zayn and Owens versus Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon being a big factor going into WrestleMania. And 2 months later, he's a jobber to the likes of Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. Mike Rome with Roman in the back. He's asked about his Money in the Bank match tonight. Roman says he is the uncrowned Universal Champion, which, again, if you watch the replay, he is not. The referee saw Roman Reigns roll off, but Roman Reigns' foot is on the skirt. And the referee saw Brock Lesnar on the steel chain roll off, and his feet hit the floor, and that's when the ref made the decision. So he's not the uncrowned Universal Champion, no matter how many times he wants to be. He's sick of the BS. When the bell rings, I'm in control of the haters tonight. I wouldn't want to be Balor or Zayn out there. I'm going to control my yard, and I will win, and then go on the Money in the Bank and win the contract and have control and take back what is rightfully mine. In the back, we had Kurt Angle with Goldust, of all people. I don't know why they did Goldust, but they had Goldust. He wants to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He wants in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Chance then in comes Jinder Mahal, who wants in the Money in the Bank match himself, but Angle says he has a match with Chad Gable tonight. Of course, that match will happen later on. No Way Jose versus Titus Worldwide, or Titus World Slide, which they're still going off on that on the commentary, versus Baron Corbin and the Revival. Winners were Baron Corbin and the Revival by No Way Jose eating a end of days. Who fucking cares? Miz versus Jeff Hardy, Rusev versus Daniel Bryan, and Charlotte versus, I believe, Peyton Royce are all Money in the Bank qualifiers for tomorrow. So, if I had to guess on who's going to win each one of these matches, I have a feeling Miz is going to sneak himself a win over Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy could probably do better defending his his United States Championship at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and they could have Rusev lose Daniel Bryan, and you have the tease of Miz and Daniel Bryan in the Money in the Bank ladder match, like we had with a small tease of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura last year. Only this time, people want to see this a lot more than Styles and Nakamura, I bet you. Banks versus Ember Moon versus Ruby Riott when it goes to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. This match was pretty decent here. All three women put on a hell of a show. The Riott Squad, of course, were a big factor towards the end of the match. Banks almost had the win, but the Riott Squad team up on her. They knock her out of the ring. And then Bayley finally makes her way out there to help out Sasha Banks. I don't know what they're going here with them. Maybe we'll find out that out next week. Then Bayley tries to make the save, but gets beat down. But Bayley ends up hitting a drop kick and knocking out both Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. Sasha Banks gets back in the ring and tries to set up a backstabber Banks statement, but over yonder on the ring, on top of the turnbuckle, Ember Moon sets up and hits the Eclipse on both women. And if you actually were there to watch the NXT TakeOver War Games show back in November, this was the exact same way that Ember Moon won the Women's Championship in NXT. So it was nice to see a similar spot used here. She pins Sasha Banks, I believe, 1, 2, 3, and Ember Moon goes on to the Money in the Bank. I'm calling it now. Ember Moon, Money in the Bank Championship, Money in the Bank title holder. I'm calling it. It would be cool. That's just my preference. Just saying. In the match, she was asked about her victory. If we have the video here, which I know we do. They're calling her the Phenom, which, can we get that tagline off of Ember Moon? She does not need something like that.
Excuse me, Ember. You're headed to the Money in the Bank ladder match. What's your reaction to what some may consider an underdog victory?
You know what? I'm over the moon. An underdog?
I know her name is Ember Moon. Do we really have to use moon puns or something like that to coincide with somebody's name? I'm over the moon, King. Who the fuck wrote this shit? Are they the same people who wrote the shit for Kevin Owens to tell Braun Strowman to sit in the corner because he's a bad monster? Are you kidding me?
You can say whatever you want. People have tried to put limits on me my entire life, and you know what? I prove them wrong and rise to the challenge each and every time. Tonight, I seized an opportunity, and I proved that I am skill, honor, and heart. So this is only the beginning. And I'm going to rise to every... You know what? I'm going to rise and grab that Money in the Bank contract.
And I hope she does. I'm a big fan of Ember Moon's, and I could see her actually honestly winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that was Ember Moon getting her thoughts on the Money in the Bank ladder match. Then we had, I think, one of the things that that people are going to pull away from this and call they want to try and get Bobby Lashley over and try and get people to connect with Bobby Lashley. This didn't help him one fucking bit. This is Renee Young sitting down with Bobby Lashley.
We all know about Bobby Lashley, the WWE superstar. What about Bobby Lashley, the man? Who is Bobby Lashley?
Well, first of all, I gotta say that I'm extremely blessed. Now, unlike so many other unfortunate people, I had a great family. And that's pretty much all I'm about. It was me, my mom, my dad, and my 3 older sisters.
Your sisters, you close with them?
We are. When I was younger, I really didn't think we were. I thought that they were really rude and mean and nasty to me. My sisters used to take me out to the woods, and they used to tie me up there, and they used to leave me there for hours. They thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Being the younger brother, getting bullied by his older sisters. Especially my older sister, Kathy. And Kathy would actually chase me around with a broom. I don't know what it was. Maybe that was her weapon of choice or whatever. But she used to always carry this broom with her. I didn't know if she liked sweeping or whatever. So, of course, I had the little joke that I played on her. And I said, you should just hop on that broom and kind of take off. And that just really fueled her. She chased me all around and tried to kill me with it. Then there was my next sister, Jessica. You know how some people say they have a security blanket? Well, my sister Jessica had a security towel. She had it from my grandmother, so it was really special to her. But over time, this white towel got a little more dingy and dirty, to the point where this towel was nasty and it stunk. And I remember one day she took that towel and she went to school with it. And of course, a local bully saw her and took the towel from her. That's where little brother Bobby stepped in. I went in there and I found that bully and I took that towel from that bully and I shoved it down his throat. I bet that towel was really, really tasty, Tim. But then lastly, there was my last sister, Frances. Frances was the youngest, and she was the closest to my age. And of course, being the youngest girl, she was Daddy's little girl. My dad was in the Army. My sister used to always carry his helmet with her. She took it to school. She took it to church. She took it everywhere she went. Of course, playing pranks, I decided to take the helmet from her and hide it in her bedroom. You see this scar right here, Renee? This scar will always remind me not to mess with Frances.
Well, it sounds like you've had and still have a pretty colorful life.
Yes, I have, and yes, I do. And I enjoyed every second of it. But now I have an extended family called the WWE Universe, and we're going to have a lot of fun together.
Bobby, thank you so much for...
Can someone please tell me what the fuck that was? Why if I go like when I had this when I watched this with I had dinner not like a half an hour or so before that. Mind me if I just go and throw that up because that was just so fucking bad. I did not need to hear that. I did not need to see that. I don't give a fuck about your family life. Man, who gives a fuck? Oh, my sister had a towel. She had a security towel. I took it from a bully and shoved it down his throat. Does it look like I care? Yeah, you had a nice family. Now, if you think about it, when he said, unlike some unfortunate people, I had a great family life, you could actually take that and turn him heel and use that as he could go out there and be like, unlike most of you trash, whatever out there, I had a great life. Unlike most of you who probably had their mom leave or their dad leave or their family torn apart by hate or whatnot. You could use that to turn him heel just from that one line. But other than that, that was just so bad. You want to get Bobby Lashley to be loved by the fans, that didn't help you one bit. Chad Gable versus Jinder Mahal, rematch from last week. 50-50 booking, what do you expect happening? Jinder Mahal wins with the Colossus. Chad Gable, of course, showed why he is above. He should be feuding with other people and actually getting matches against people who can hold with him. Jinder Mahal just sucks. Post-match, Sunil Singh sitting there talking trash to Chad Gable when Jinder Mahal, who's on the turnbuckle celebrating, turns around and beats him down some more. And I'm thinking the rumors of Jason Jordan coming back. I can see Jason Jordan coming back, doing a save to Chad Gable, scooting off Jinder Mahal, and then turning his back, turning on like Sheamus did when he turned heel when he first came out with the Mohawk. He came out, looked like he was going to save Daniel Bryan, I believe, and Dolph Ziggler. And the next thing you know, he's bro-kicking Daniel Bryan, I think it was Daniel Bryan, and Dolph Ziggler, turning heel and, having a heel run for the majority of his career since. So that's what I was expecting to start off to build, a feud between those two. But no, Jason Jordan tonight. So the rumors of Jason Jordan coming back are not... He's not back yet, but he's supposed to be coming back soon. And the back ladder is with Angle when the modern-day Australia Raja makes another return to the back, wanting to be take the triple threat match from tonight and make it a fatal four-way. By the way, they're in Long Island, New York tonight, and this is all you have for Zack Ryder. Yes, I know he's injured. He's got some strained ligaments in his knees. I'm sure he did something for the crowd off TV, but this is the best you could do for him. Maybe you could have had Jinder Mahal out there with Chad Gable. No, that's right. If they could have did this a little bit better and had, instead of Goldust, they could have had Zack Ryder in there, and then you could have had Jinder Mahal get distracted by Zack Ryder's music, and Chad Gable pick up the win because of Zack Ryder. But no, okay. We'll see why later Jinder Mahal that stuff didn't happen for Jinder Mahal.
We are in the hometown of the Long Island IC. Think about this. What would be better than the hometown boy becoming the hometown hero and qualifying for the Money in the Bank ladder match right here tonight on Long Island? Zach, I'm a big fan of yours, but I don't... Did you see what I just did to your hand-picked opponent, Chad Gable? As undeserving as Roman Reigns is, I'm not even going to ask you to take him out of the match. But put the modern-day Maharaja into the triple threat and make the Money in the Bank qualifying match a fatal four-way. Add you to the match, huh? Add me to the match. Woo, woo, woo. The answer is no, bro.
Oh boy.
Sick, bro.
Oh, good grief. Now, can someone tell me why Jinder Mahal is just all of a sudden picking a fight with Roman Reigns? Is WWE this desperate to get Roman Reigns cheered that one of the most hated guys in WWE, Jinder Mahal, they want him to feud with Roman Reigns so Roman Reigns can possibly get cheered? Let me think about that. I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns is going to end up becoming a much more hated person, and Jinder Mahal will be turned babyface like that. So I don't get so he complains about Roman Reigns being in the match, but yet Baron Corbin, not Baron Corbin, but Sami Zayn and Finn Balor, who both lost last night, are in this triple threat match, but he doesn't complain about them. Why? What are they thinking? Seriously, it would not surprise me if we get to the match between Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal, and you know what's coming. They're not just gonna have him go out there and just name drop Roman Reigns and not have a match coming up for him. And when we get to the main event, you'll see that that's even more solidified after tonight. Slater and Lana versus Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and as always, this match ends with the nice little. What was interesting is Heath Slater. Heath Slater tried to welcome back, man. He was being all hype and everything because his former 3MB mate was in the opposite corner of him. Towards the end of the match, you had Drew McIntyre have Heath Slater slinged over the top rope in a reverse Alabama Slam position. Dolph Ziggler hits him with a super kick. He gets tossed back over into the ring, and they gets hit with the zigzag into the Claymore zigzag combination. And of course, Drew McIntyre took care of that by hitting him with a nice little stiff headshot with the headbutt. Winner is Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. They do not have a name, but I guess this supposed to be called The Show. Bobby Roode versus Elias. Elias, of course, tried to do another concert tonight. Did not get to happen because Bobby Roode interrupted him. Bobby Roode ends up getting the win with a glorious DDT out of nowhere. Towards the end of the match, Elias he took off the covering of the metal piece that connects the turnbuckle. He tried to recreate what happened last week by shoving the chest of Bobby Roode into it. Bobby Roode gets out of that. He's struggling to get back up, but Bobby Roode ends up hitting a glorious DDT in 1, 2, 3. You have ourselves a winner in, I guess you can say, 70-30 booking. I don't know how you actually want to say that, but you have Bobby Roode finally picking up a win over Elias. Seth Rollins comes out, pretty much hypes up the crowd and everything, and then he issues an open challenge. And I'm guaranteeing you, everybody was thinking Zack Ryder is going to answer this. That's why Zack Ryder wasn't brought out here in the Money in the Bank ladder match. They're going to have him answer this match here. He's going to face for the Intercontinental title. If you do not know your news for wrestling, Zack Ryder is currently not able to wrestle. So it turned out to be his former tag team partner in the Hype Bros. It was Mojo Rawley. This was a decent match. Mojo Rawley looked like $1 million because he was going up against one of, if not one of the best in WWE at this time. We had a We Want Ryder chance multiple times. Blackout Stomp for the 3, and Mojo Rawley takes the L, giving Seth Rollins the win, and he retains his championship. Speaking of champions, we had the Leader of Worlds versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, no longer called the Miz Taraj. I guess they're called, whatever the hell they were called, Just Wait or something. Stay Tuned is what I think Coachman called them. Their name is Stay Tuned now. Is that the best you could come up with for these two? Was Stay Tuned? That's just lame as all get out. WWE with their team names now. We had the Deleter of Worlds, which I guess makes sense because one was the Eater of Worlds and one likes to delete things. But the best you come up with, stay tuned, or they're actually going to have an actual name. Which also means no more Miz music on Monday Night Raw as long as the Miz isn't there. Which is great. He's not on Monday Night Raw, so there's no reason for him to have his music being played. And they ended the match, and this was interesting. And a lot of people were complaining and saying that the elevated twist of fate is an awful move. Well, how do you like this one with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt both holding, I think it was Axel, in the Sister Abigail position at the same time, and they just hit him. They do a double Sister Abigail to I think it was Curtis Axel for the 3 count. So people who were complaining about the Deleter of Worlds having a terrible finisher combo, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, and Roman Reigns. Qualifier for the Money in the Bank ladder match, number 2 for the night for the men. This one was, it felt like it was like 2 matches. It felt like the first part was all 3 guys just trying to beat the hell out of each other and have a hell of a match. The second part was Roman Reigns, typical Roman Reigns. He gets beat down, he gets taken out of the match, the other 2 fight, they went to a triple threat match, he comes back and becomes Super Roman. And we're all thinking, I bet you we're all thinking, oh, Roman Reigns is going to win this match. Because basically towards the middle of the match we had Finn Balor and Sami Zayn team up and beat down Roman Reigns. The crowd goes wild with yes chants, they're cheering, they're going crazy. They're like, oh my god, this guy's getting his ass beat like he richly deserves. Then what happens? They actually go out into the crowd, into the tech area. Haluva kick by Sami Zayn over a barricade, and then coup de grace by Finn Balor, taking out Roman Reigns. And people who don't have a wrestling mind were probably like, he's done. Yay, we're going to have one of these 2 win, which we'll get to what happened. But everyone's like, oh my god, he's done, good. Now, it was at this time I'm thinking, oh my god, they're going to have Roman Reigns come back and do the superhero thing, the super manly thing, and come in, like spear, Superman punch, spear, 1, 2, 3. It looked like we were going to get that, because after these 2 beat the hell out of each other in the ring, for a while, Sami Zayn tries to get on. He's like, no, hold on, man. It's not me. It's Roman Reigns is the enemy. But then Finn Balor just knocks his teeth out, knocks him out of the ring. Roman Reigns gets back into the match, and then it's like, oh fuck, here we go, typical Roman Reigns finish. Roman hits a Superman punch on Finn Balor. He hits the drive-by on Sami Zayn. He hits a couple more Superman punches. Finn Balor does look like he was going to go up and get the coup de grace. He misses that. Superman punch by Finn Balor. Haluva kick gets turned into a Superman punch. It looks like Roman Reigns is setting up for a spear. All of a sudden, Jinder Mahal, of all fucking people, comes out from the crowd, pulls Roman Reigns down, and stops him from being able to hit the spear. Reigns gets hit with a Haluva kick. Reigns rolls out of the ring. Sami Zayn gets hit with the drop kick in the corner. Coup de grace, 1, 2, 3, and Finn Balor is the second man into the Money in the Bank ladder match. So, WWE can't get Roman Reigns over by any means other than trying to use Jinder Mahal. You're going to try and get Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns to get Roman Reigns over. Are you fucking kidding me? WWE is so goddamn desperate to make sure that Roman Reigns is the guy and that they get that crowning moment, that crowning cheering moment. Oh, they hate Jinder Mahal. Let's put him against Roman Reigns. Let's give Roman Reigns another shot next week or the week after. Oh my god. They're going to be in London next week, which means we'll know what everything happens before the show goes on the air, just like last year when AJ Styles beat Jinder Mahal and saving Christmas for everybody and winning the WWE Championship. We're going to probably have Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. It's Roman Reigns getting a shot to get into the Money in the Bank ladder match, and of course Roman Reigns probably getting booed out of the building. And if this happens and we have Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns, It ain't going to happen on pay-per-view. WWE does not think that much about Jinder Mahal, that he's going to share the ring with Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match on pay-per-view. No. But it's going to be either next week or the week after that or sometime down the line. And we have 5 more weeks left, 5 more Monday Night Raws before we get to Money in the Bank. So one of those weeks we're going to get Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns, probably with Roman Reigns getting into the Money in the Bank ladder match. Then that begs the question, will Brock Lesnar be defending his title at Money in the Bank and against who? Braun Strowman's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. If Roman Reigns beats Jinder Mahal and goes to the Money in the Bank ladder match, who is Roman Reigns facing? Who is Brock Lesnar facing at Money in the Bank? Honestly, I don't think Roman Reigns is going to get into the Money in the Bank because they put Braun Strowman in already, so that means Braun Strowman's not going to get the title shot, and Roman Reigns is. So that's like, if they don't, I don't know who else you could have face off against Brock Lesnar, or they're going to hold off Brock Lesnar until SummerSlam, which will be an utter mistake in my opinion. And if Roman Reigns actually ends up winning Money in the Bank after all of this, I guarantee he'll be like one of the first, if not only person to get booed, heavily booed, when his music hits, when Brock Lesnar is down, and he goes to cash in the Money in the Bank. Or Roman Reigns will do a John Cena or Rob Van Dam and be the third person to sit in here and say, I have this briefcase at SummerSlam. It is going to be me and Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. It's my choice, so whenever I want to have a title shot, I want it then. No, I'm not like most of these cowards out here, or people out here who have to sneak up on the champion. I want to be able to look you face to face and say, this is my ticket, and it's going to SummerSlam. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. WWE has a lot to go. We do only have three Money in the Bank. We have 2 men and 1 woman qualified for Money in the Bank. We'll have another 2 tomorrow for the men and 1 more for the women. I don't know why they're not doing it. They couldn't just reverse it and make it 3 even. I mean, we're going to have 4 for each show, so that's going to be 8 men, 8 women. So we have 5 weeks to go after this week. So much time. But if Roman Reigns does not get into Money in the Bank through Jinder Mahal, he's going to go to the Money in the Bank and he's going to get the title shot against Brock Lesnar. I know, it's fucking pathetic. The fact that you had Zayn and Balor, I'm so used to saying Zayn and Owens, but Zayn and Balor beating down on Roman Reigns, the supposed to be babyface of this company, and the cheers and the yes chants, and everyone just loving the fact that Roman Reigns is getting beat. The fact that Roman Reigns didn't win the night probably sent that crowd home happy. Balor winning probably sent that crowd home happy. It would not surprise me when we get the next 2. We get 1 more for Raw. We get 1 more for Raw and qualified. And then everybody who was in qualifying matches for Raw. Same thing with SmackDown. We'll get into a Fatal 4-way, Fatal 5-way, whatever the fuck they want to go with, and say, the winner of this will be the last person in the Money in the Bank. I hope not. I mean, they do have talent they could put in, but we'll have to wait and see. That is your Monday Night Raw review. I know it's a shorter episode than usual, but other than talking points I talked about, there really wasn't much this week. We did have 3 Money in the Bank qualifiers. We have 1 for 1 woman and 2 men. Tomorrow we have Bryan versus Rusev. I'm saying Rusev is probably going to lose, most likely going to lose to Bryan, and of course I think Miz is going to win against Jeff Hardy. Because I honestly think Jeff Hardy does not need to be in Money in the Bank if he's United States Champion. I think we're going to have Miz and Daniel Bryan in the Money in the Bank ladder match to continue to tease the match that everybody who is a fan really, really wants to have happen. And the fact that both of these guys happen to be in Money in the Bank ladder match qualifying matches on the same night just tells me that both men are going to most likely be in Money in the Bank this year. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment down below. Find me on Twitter at TheFrauds. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrauds08. And make sure to have a nice day, afternoon, night, and I will see you guys tomorrow for SmackDown Live. And then Wednesday for NXT, and we'll be back here on Saturday for our next episode of Unscripted. Until then, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later.